Sarah Ferguson dropped from children's charity over controversial Jeffrey Epstein email. The Duchess faces backlash once again. Welcome, royal watchers, to Crown Chronicles, the home of royal revelations, untold truths, and the captivating stories behind the grandeur of Britain's most famous family. Crown, if you're passionate about the royal family and love getting the real story behind the palace walls, make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell, because here at Crown Chronicles, every crown hides a story, and today's story is one that will leave you stunned. Today, we're diving into the controversy that has once again placed Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, in the center of public scrutiny, this time over her alleged connection to the late Jeffrey Epstein. The scandal that once shook the royal world has resurfaced, as news breaks that Fergie has been dropped from a children's charity following the emergence of an email linking her to Epstein. Once admired for her charitable work and resilience, the Duchess of York is facing yet another storm, one that questions not only her judgment, but her role as a public figure and advocate for children's welfare. Let's unravel this dramatic royal saga. For decades, Sarah Ferguson has been known as the fiery, outspoken royal who wears her heart on her sleeve. Since her divorce from Prince Andrew in 1996, she's worked hard to build a new image, that of a philanthropist, writer, and public speaker, championing causes close to her heart, especially those focused on children's well-being. But behind that reinvention lies a history that continues to haunt her, one tied to the darkest chapters of royal controversy. It all traces back to her association with Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender whose name has cast a long shadow over the British monarchy, especially due to his friendship with her ex-husband, Prince Andrew. Though Andrew's own involvement with Epstein led to the loss of his royal duties and public standing, Sarah too had an uncomfortable connection that has now come back to bite her. Reports claim that a controversial email exchange between Sarah Ferguson and one of Epstein's associates recently resurfaced, and it was enough to alarm one of the children's charities she worked closely with. According to insiders, the charity, which had partnered with Fergie for several years, made the difficult but necessary decision to cut ties with her following the renewed public attention on her Epstein links. The revelation, while shocking, isn't entirely new. Back in 2011, Fergie publicly admitted that she had accepted £15,000 from Jeffrey Epstein to help pay off personal debts, a move she later described as a gigantic mistake and one she claimed to deeply regret. She said she was foolish and sincerely sorry, insisting that she had repaid the money once she realized its origin, but despite her apology, critics have never truly forgotten. Now, over a decade later, as charities and institutions face increasing scrutiny about who they align with, even a whiff of controversy can spell disaster. And for Sarah Ferguson, that seems to be exactly what's happened. A source close to the charity reportedly told the press, the organization could not continue working with someone who had any association with Epstein. It goes against everything we stand for. For Fergie, who has spent years rebuilding her reputation, this decision is a devastating blow. She's worked tirelessly with organizations focusing on children's education, cancer awareness, and human trafficking prevention. She's written books, given speeches, and even hosted a podcast encouraging mental wellness and self-worth. Yet despite all that, her name continues to be linked to one of the most toxic scandals of our time. It's an especially painful twist, given that the Duchess has only recently emerged from a difficult period of personal struggle. After her breast cancer diagnosis and recovery earlier this year, she spoke candidly about life, gratitude, and finding her purpose again. But now, this renewed controversy threatens to undo much of that hard work, dragging her back into the storm she's tried so hard to escape. Behind palace walls, the fallout is being felt too. Royal insiders say that King Charles's ongoing efforts to streamline and protect the monarchy's reputation have made situations like this particularly sensitive. With the spotlight already uncomfortably fixed on Prince Andrew, any mention of Epstein near royal circles is seen as reputational poison. One insider claimed, Charles has made it clear that the family can't afford any more embarrassment. Sarah has already been treading a fine line living at Royal Lodge with Andrew, but this kind of publicity makes things far more complicated. Indeed, Sarah's continued residence at Royal Lodge, the Windsor home she still shares with her ex-husband, has already raised eyebrows. Many see it as symbolic of the complicated dynamic between her and the royal establishment. She's not officially part of the working royal family, yet somehow, she never fully left, and now, this latest controversy could force her further to the margins. For years, Fergie has prided herself on being the people's duchess, approachable, funny, flawed, but kind-hearted. Her supporters see her as a woman who's made mistakes but has always tried to do better. But her critics argue that she's never truly broken free of the scandals that have defined her. This latest charity fallout has reignited public debate. Can Sarah Ferguson ever fully escape the shadow of Jeffrey Epstein? Or will this connection, however distant, forever haunt her legacy? What makes the story even more tragic is that Sarah has, by most accounts, been trying to live a quieter life. She's written children's books, worked with cancer charities, and has openly shared her journey of healing and reflection. She's spoken of forgiveness, learning from failure, and using her platform for good. But in the unforgiving world of public image, one wrong association, especially with a figure as infamous as Epstein, can erase years of progress in a single headline. As the dust settles, the Duchess has yet to make a formal statement about being dropped from the charity. However, sources close to her suggest she is deeply hurt by the decision and feels misunderstood. She's not that person anymore, one friend reportedly said. She made a mistake years ago, she owned up to it, and she's worked tirelessly since then to make amends. But it seems people will never let her move on. Perhaps that's the saddest truth of all. For Sarah Ferguson, redemption has always been a moving target, always just out of reach. Whether it's financial scandals, royal estrangement, or the shadow of Epstein, her past keeps finding its way back into the present. Still, one thing remains constant: her refusal to disappear. Through every setback, Fergie has bounced back with optimism, humor, and determination. She's reinvented herself time and again, and maybe, just maybe, she'll find a way to do it once more. But as of now, the Duchess of York stands at yet another crossroads, facing the painful reality that one email, one name, one moment from the past, can shake the foundations of everything she's built. And in the ever-watchful world of the British monarchy, forgiveness may be rare, but second chances, those, as Sarah knows better than anyone, are worth fighting for. So, what do you think? Has Sarah Ferguson been unfairly judged, or is this another case of royal recklessness catching up at last? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Crown Chronicles for more breaking royal updates. Scandals, and truths from behind palace walls. Crown, because every crown hides a story, and this one, perhaps, is far from over.